I am grateful for because I live a very, very healthy life at my age now, right?
Hmm.
I'm very successful, and there were disciplines that I had from my parents that has blessed me to this very day, right?
Hmm.
And I could be in a worse state right now. But there were also things that my parents did that was that goes against what God really created us for, right?
Hmm.
And what they call protection is another form of fear.
True.
Bible says, I didn't give you the spirit of fear, but I gave you love, power, and sound mind. So sometimes fear can come in the form of protection and trying to protect you, but they're also fearful of failing to
From their
embarrass them.
responsibility.
Nigerian parents don't like you to
Yeah.
embarrass them.
Yes. You want to embarrass me? What do you want your word to say?
So
That's the
now, so
word.
they're making choices based
Hmm.
on. So my parents
What?
were making choices based on me, but also based on them. So it's like,
Hmm.
so now because you don't want me to embarrass you, you now want to put me in a prison cell and do what you say. And
Hmm.
so it was a conflict. And me and my father, for the longest time, we had issues in our relationship, you know.
Hmm.
But I
Which
those
you have
issues.
fixed. Which you have fixed
Oh,
in a very
that's my
great
best
way.
friend now.
He's
You
your
know,
best friend. I know you're always
definitely.
flying back to London to.
That's my best friend. I love my father, and the one thing my father, and one day maybe when I go back home or when he comes back here, I'm gonna do a live with him too, for him to
Yes.
explain that when he finally saw what my success had brought, and realized how successful I was and how blessed I was, and that it actually brought me closer to my purpose. He apologized and he said, "I just didn't know,"
Hmm. Which
and he was
which
honest.
never happened mostly from African parents.
Yes, right.
Apologized.
That's right. And he
Hmm.
apologized. And the one thing I've learned is that, you can't be mad, because you gotta understand, for our parents as well as
Hmm.
Nigerians, especially in the 60s and the 70s, when they got to London, that was the most success they can have.
True.
Do you understand what I mean?
That's
Millions. They
something
weren't
very close to success.
it was the closest thing to success. He had a job, he had a house, he bought a house. That's
There's a
the most
light.
success that our family had seen. Do you understand?
There's light.
So
There's constant
there's
water.
light,
There's
there's food,
benefits.
there's healthcare, which was free. My children are going to school. That was the most success they were ever saw. So for me, you want to be music kid and go and do what? And waste all
Uh,
this money, all this hard
and
work
with
that I don't
all
do.
this hard work, yeah, exactly.
The
You are not
war
even
and everything.
you are not picking doctor. You are not picking to be a lawyer. You are not
Ah,
even picking to They are
mhm.
thinking of West End.
So
Yes.
so now, that was my childhood, and moving to university when I switched over to music.
Okay.
Um,
Let me make it a little bit exciting.
man.
Who was the first person you produced in UK? Then pick it up front
Ah, the first person I produced, as in, I mean,
to test all the skills that you've learned from
my
music,
so I was
learning,
20,
production.
I was 19 years old, and there was this girl. She was my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, shout out to Chidi. I think I
What
need to
up, Chidi?
introduce
My guy.
Chidi, yeah, Uduex, yeah, yeah,
My
yeah.
ex was my ex-girlfriend at the time in college was my first
First artist to
experiment
test experiments, your
to
first
test.
lab
And
rat.
no, so remember this, and this is another thing. Uh, I wanted to be like, because at the end of the day, so you understand, I could play music, I could write music, and I could sing music, right? So I was like, let me be Usher, let me be like Usher, let me be like Michael Jackson, let me do. So before I met my girlfriend, I was trying to work on my own project and my own album. I learned to
Mm-hmm.
record myself. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I'm gonna do my own album. And then somewhere in that, between 18 and 19, uh, and I met my girlfriend, and at the time, and she was working on her project. God, I felt in my spirit, God was like, you should be focusing on building others instead of building yourself. I was like, huh? And
Hmm.
I didn't understand it. He was like, you see better when you build others than you see better building yourself. And I was like, so I said, okay. I gave up trying to be an artist, and I started to focus on being a producer. And I started building her
And
music.
that's a big battle for a lot of
Yeah,
creatives.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know how to listen to that word that
Yeah,
comes to the back of their head,
yeah,
that no, be
yeah.
the source for others
That's right.
rather than
Right
you.
for yourself. Now, for
And you know
me,
that's what we've all been living, including. Go ahead.
well, God just explained to me that for me to do what I'm going to do the way I'm going to do it, I cannot do it being in the front seat. I need to be in the back seat and raise those up that can be in the front seat because of the discipline and the mindset that I was built with, right? So I can last longer than most. Like, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. Do you
For almost
understand what
30
I
years.
mean? And I'm still successfully
Successfully.
doing this for 15 years as a successful financially free music producer, but 30 years as making music, right? So I realized that my mindset is always looking forward, right? And I don't need to worry about how I look in the situation, but I can worry about how a person looks. So when I'm working with someone like Rotimi, I work better thinking about how I can make him better than think about how I can make myself better.
Wait, you mentioned
That's my
Rotimi.
gift.
You see, God is God that got you there. You mentioned Rotimi. Okay, we've all been, been seeing Rotimi do his thing. I think while he was in DC, he
Yeah.
was trying to do a lot of stuff. Yeah, he has a very good voice, and he was struggling.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
Then he came. I mean, you guys became a team.
Yeah.
You basically produced his album,
Yes,
his
sir.
single, and the album actually went to #1 in the world
Yes, sir.
on R&B chart.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's this part of our conversation that I always, try to tell people that sometimes God will bring some people into your life
Yeah.
when you have your own run that has been unsuccessful. The grace that those people bring into your life manifests in greatness into whatever you do in regards to productivity. I can
Yeah.
see the energy between you and Rotimi. You introduce Rotimi to me.
Yeah.
Rotimi is my friend. He talks to
Yeah.
me. We play.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
energy radiates. How do people recognize those kind of situations, those kind of energy, those kind of words when it comes to their mind? And how
Uh,
do they play? How do they play it? A lot
I
of people
mean,
battle. A lot of people battle. Following that word. You
yeah.
understand?
I mean, I'll be honest. If it wasn't for I had my relationship with God. I'm not afraid to speak about God. God and my music work hand in hand, right? God and my production work hand in hand. I've made hits because I've listened to God, right? When Jesus say yes for Destiny's Child, that was a message from God. When I did
In the
Made for
bathroom.
Now, in the
In the
bathroom,
bathroom.
no. When I did Made for Now was in the bathroom for Janet
Okay.
Jackson. That was me in the shower. I just prayed and I asked God, I said, I need you to give me direction on what I need to do in this situation for Janet. I need something that she's never done before. And as I'm taking my shower, it was almost like I could hear the guitar line. Doo, 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 doo,
Do,
doo, doo, doo.
do,
Now,
do.
remember, I've been making music since I was 12 years old. So I can almost make the song in my head before I even make it in the studio.
In the studio.
So I've already made it. I called my engineer, I called my boys, and I said, I got it. Come meet me at the studio ASAP. We made the hit. We've made the Janet record, and everyone's like, ah.
Within like 4 hours or something, you told me, right?
And so before we get to the studio, everybody's like, where's the song? When I get to the studio, I'm like, we're gonna make it. That's like, what do you mean? You're gonna make what? I was like, we about to make the smash right now. And 4 hours later, everybody's looking at me like, how did you hear it? You know, and that's how I made my music. So with Rotimi, I worked with Rotimi I've known Rotimi for about 6 years. This is when he was just starting out and coming in the game, and obviously Nigerians know Nigerians, you know, we respect and love each other, you know.
Hey,
And
bon bros.
hey, you know what I'm saying? He always say, big bro, I'm coming to see you. Big bro, I'm coming to see you. I said, I'm here, bro. Big bro, I'm coming to see you for almost 5 years, right? And then last year, or 2018 into 19, he came to see me. So one of the things that I've learned is that when it's time, the right people will turn up.
Can you say it again?
When it's time, the right people will turn up. When the right time is appointed. Rotimi had known me 5-6 years and could have come to see me. He had put out a project with the Jeep where he was sitting in front of the Jeep. Like, he had done so many different things. He was on TV. He could have seen me multiple times, but timing is the key. And as someone just text just now, and when he did come to finally see me, I was ready. He was ready. We were both in that space where we both needed each other. You know, we have to always remember that you never want to work with someone who doesn't need you and you don't need, because the energy is always off, right? At the point that we came together, we both needed each other. He saw something in me, I saw something in him, and we was able to raise each other up. And the first hit we did together was called Love Rhythm.
Love Rhythm, yeah.
Love Rhythm. And once again, I'm you know, his manager, Kenny Hamilton.
Kenny, shout out to Kenny, one of the greatest guy.
Kenny said, you know, he wanted him to be an R&B icon. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right. You know, he wanted us to kind of do Afro beats with R&B on top of it. And I was like, perfect, because I'm the king of R&B. And what a lot of people don't know is I've been feeding the African culture for years. Right?
Yes.
I was
can
doing.
you say it? Kele Kele Love. You were the one that.
Kele Kele Love was 2011, 10, 11, right? This was when Afro beats wasn't even over here. People was like, "What is that?" You know, and you know, Tiwa, my sister, she came to Los Angeles. She was in Los Angeles working. We were working together, writing songs. She was a songwriter in Los Angeles already. So we had worked on Fantasia. We had worked on Kelly Rowland. We had worked on Chris Brown. We had worked on many records together prior to her taking her shift to Nigeria. One of the things that connected us was that we're both Nigerians. One thing I would say about the Nigerian community is that once we realize that we're Nigerian,
you always gravitate to each other.
Right, we gravitate to each other. The one thing that we have to learn as a culture is how to stay together and build together. That's the one thing that we have to learn. But overall, when I met Tiwa, just like Rotimi, you know, she became family. We were friends. And the first song we ever did, she's like, big bro, I'm gonna go back to Nigeria and try this thing over there. And I said, Nigeria tough, you know.
Hey, that place I was like, Nigeria war zone, oh.
My war zone, oh. And she said, well, she was honest. She said, you know, I just have to try. You know, it's a risk, but it's not gonna work over here. And she said, I'm gonna be the biggest Afrobeat artist in Nigeria, in the world. And I said, all right, let's go. So she said, just give me some beats. She said, this is how she described it to me. She said, you see the way you make beats for Beyonce and the way you make beats for Chris Brown. Do the same thing for me, but just make it African.
That's all.
That's it. So I said,
simple, straightforward, but vocals.
The first track I made was, I know do kele kele no kele kele love. That was the first song we did, right? And I remember when she sent it to me, and I was mixing the song in my house, because I was in my house studio then. I hadn't built my studio then. I was like, wow, this one's strong. And I didn't realize what we were doing. And then we did another song called Love Me, Love Me, Love Me, Love Me.
That's a smash. Right.
And so I'm just like, I'm making it because it's cool, it's fun, I enjoy
It's
it, it's
sweet and it's
different,
a new,
it's sweet,
different
it's sweet. And,
experience.
you know, I get to be Nigerian. I'm not working with Chris Brown. I get to be, I get to mess, you know, be my culture, whatever. And 2 years later, I saw her on a Pepsi can. I said, eh.
Pepsi can
I saw her on a
straight.
Pepsi can. And I said, wow. At this point, there was no Davido, there was no Wizkid at this point,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. They are
Like
still coming there. No, no.
they wasn't here. It was Two Face was there, the Banj was there,
Yeah,
like it was
yeah.
there, but there was, you know what I mean? So that was early. Like you gotta understand, that's over 10 years ago, right?
10 years ago. Yeah.
And then, you know, I worked with some other people, another girl called Seyi Shay, who I'd known since
Yes. Seyi
I've known
Shay,
Seyi
yes.
Shay since I was 11 years old is when I first met Shay, right?
Wow.
So I've known her since we were kids, right? When she was young, she was a baby. And so I gave her, you know, a couple songs. One of the songs was a big song called Right Now. Love me, no, no, no,
Na,
no,
na, na, na. Da, da, da,
no.
da, da, da. Oh, that's a fire job.
Right?
Harmony.
So,
H
so
money.
so you on one hand, I'm helping build my culture and you know, for all my whole career and my whole plan is to build that bridge between the Western world and Africa, right? And so I, on one hand, without me knowing, I'm seeing that artists like Tiwa and 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 Shay and Wizkid and you know, Davido and some other great other artists are, and the band, the scene's growing. And I didn't realize I was somewhat
You're
helping.
contributing. No, no,
I'm
no.
good.
What you've done is that, you see, your journey, because
Yeah,
it's connecting the dots.
yeah,
Look at the journey. You went like this, you went up. Now
yeah,
God, like, okay, this region, your constituency, your
yeah,
base,
yeah,
you have to put a mark there.
yeah,
Because if anytime Tiwa climbs the stage and she drops Keleke level, it's
yeah,
always fire.
yeah,
Smash. You
yeah,
understand? The same thing
yeah,
with Seyi Shay. Anytime she drops love me, love me, it's, you know, we all felt the touch
yeah,
of those music. The production
yeah,
was different and
yeah.
it sounds familiar, you know, like you said,
But I, but at
Beyonce.
this, but at the same time, I was still doing Chris Brown. I was
Yeah,
working with Brandy. I was working with
true,
Fantasia.
true.
I was working with Kelly Rowe. Like I was doing
Say
all
it.
of those.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana,
So.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana
Yeah,
Grande.
I did
Mary
her
J.
first album.
Blige, you know.
Like I
Yeah.
was so, you know, I was in between. But for me, it was like I'm gonna try and bridge the gap as much as possible. And then one of the biggest opportunities came. Well, let me finish the Rotimi story. So when Rotimi came, and we was working on Love Rhythm, I had the beat going, and one of the things that you know, just because you sing and you rap and you could do all these things doesn't mean you have to be on stage doing it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can use those things to enhance your work in the studio, right?
Hmm.
So a lot of the songs that you hear that I produce, I'm either singing the melodies in the background, the melody came from me, or I wrote some of the lyrics on top of the music that was on top, right? And all the artists and producers and writers that I work with know that. So with Love Rhythm, if you listen to Love Rhythm, the intro, baby, baby, yeah, that's
That's your
me,
voice.
right? I'm gonna tell you another one. Then
Yay!
then in the chorus when he goes na 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 na
Na,
na
na, na,
na na
na,
na,
na, na.
that's me. So
Wow.
when I went in the booth, sometimes, like I say, I always have these. I call them. I call it worship moments, right? Where you,
Hmm.
God, and your music become one, right? And so I went in the booth, and from the beginning to the end, I sung the whole song, right? And one day, you know what I'm gonna do? One day I'm gonna put my demo out on it. So